Hello everybody, this is a video for Pluto. Pluto is currently in the RX zone, it's in shadow, and it is going to be retrograde from April the 20th, 2017 till September the 28th, 2017, leaving shadow only by January the 19th, 2018. So we've got this big thing happening. It's like a big shadowy Pluto-y thing over us for most of the year. Let's talk about this because it's going to be in Capricorn, which is always a little bit harsh. So let's have a look. So we are now in February. I'm doing this video in February. Let's have a look. The Plutonian energy becomes very, very stiffening to some and very, very ambitious to others. If you are somebody who is currently in a way of words and action and needs to be heard and protrude, you are not good for this frequency. If you are somebody who's very meek, very quiet, likes to sort of put one leg over the other in your arms like this and watch other people's do their thing, this is best. If you're somebody who's meek and a little bit surprised by what other people do, if you are maybe in some ways judgmental or in some ways proddy, you know, like that's not real, that's not real. If you are exhibiting yourself in this dimension as a certain type of teacher, and teacher through maybe condescendence, somebody who likes to stop thinking and start watching maybe, and then through that do, because you are learning from other people's mistakes and you don't want to make any mistakes by your own voice and your own energy, that's fine. That's fine. This is not going to be bad. If you are, however, like myself, and you're wanting to show something, okay, you wanted to give something, you want to express something, you want to experience life, it's not easy. So what we have is from December the 29th, we've got a start, stop, start, stop, start. If you are somebody who sits back, it's not hard. It's like, it's like you're in the back of the trolley. It's not hard, okay? It's not hard. But then if you are somebody who is very, very experiencing and very, very deep and very, very nurturing, if you've got Leo, Mercury, you know, if you've got Leo things, then you've got Capricorn maybe, and if you've got Scorpio maybe, but perhaps Leo is something that is more prone to this. Leo people, they might be like, oh, but I need to say, oh, no, take it back, but I need to say, no. It's like you want to go forward and then like life takes you back. You want to go forward and your life takes you back. Perhaps you wanted to be there, you got there and you're like, oh, I don't even understand why I'm here. Or like you got somewhere, you got to the top and then you understand, oh, these people don't actually want me here. You actually developing is almost like being in a carriage that's bumpy. It's a bumpy ride up until maybe the end of September 2017. So what do I mean is, this is a training opportunity for you. If you're like me, a speaker or a worshipper or a leader or a feeler or something. If you are something like that, if you're an actor, if you're a devotee, if you're a devotional person, it's not going to be easy. It's almost like, and I'm going to walk in the door and nothing happens. Okay, so basically expect that. Sometimes you might spend hours and hours online promoting your work, or you might be spending a lot of time in a studio trying hard to get your biceps together. You know, you might be working on your stomach and you might be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it. And then there comes a time when it's like your body or your mind just does not. It's like how people can say a brain fart. There's an expression, it's like, I'm gonna do it, even to the point where you've got the dates, you signed up, you're gonna go, you gotta do it, you turn up, you crap out. Something like that can very much happen to most of us at some point, even if you're one of these. But to one of these, it's not gonna happen as much. So basically, if you're somebody who push and push and push, beware of yourself needing the push. So what I'd like to say is maybe like recommend to yourself something totally different. Like say, if I'm going to be sitting here and saying, okay, I'm going to revamp my website, I'm going to start this, I'm going to start that, I'm going to ring up somebody overseas, I'm going to have fun, I'm going to maybe like go travel. It's like you're getting on the roll, and the higher the climb in your mind, the bigger the fall. Okay, so as I've experienced this as well before doing this video, before knowing what the hell was going on. So when you're like, oh, and then this is gonna happen, and you're like, like this, be very careful because basically you need to distract yourself with something like orange. Look at this orange. Look at this orange. looking at the orange, okay? Like this, like, and we got Jupiter. Okay, you guys, we got Jupiter retrograde at the moment. It's a perfect freaking time. Okay, I'll actually tell you when it's over. Sorry, I didn't remember it by heart because I just channel. I don't remember dates very well. Okay, so we got Jupiter retrograde till June the 9th. June the 9th, 2017. So basically, during that time, as Jupiter is retrograde till June 2017, it's a very nice time to be like, oh, orange! I haven't smelled an orange like this before. Okay, surprise yourself. Take yourself completely different places, like to the point of psychosis. Like, for example, this is probably not so good for procrastination, but for some people, there might be a little thing that they carry around in their bag. You know, if you're somebody who's like, oh my god, I've got to be the best at what I do, and we've got really nice Saturn that is helping us forge something that's like the best, it would be very nice to have a distraction. Like, for example, like, okay, you got a bag with you, you know, I got a Russian doll, you're on the bus or you're like in commute somewhere, you're like, oh, look at this. Buzz out a little bit, like, ooh, damn, look at this. We've got Neptune retrograde soon as well, so just letting you know. And through that kind of experience of just like doing things like that, just be like, oh my goodness gracious, how do they think of this? Even though to you, like, you might be a bit impatient and might feel a little bit dumb to you, you know, but understand that in really small gifts like this, you know, small things like this is a great marriage of self and spirit, you know what I mean? Like, you can become and evolve so much faster during this retrograde season, especially with Jupiter being retrograde in Libra through, I don't know, let's look at this, let's touch this, you know, have something that you can touch and feel and marvel at, and something that you cannot understand. Something that you cannot understand. Like, how did this person do that? It's a very, very nice time for a humbling, perhaps at the moment as well, as we're coming up to the big moon in Leo. It's a good time for humbling. Say, for example, if you're a videos person, oh man, if you're a videos person, it's a really nice time to watch a video of an amazing poet, you know, that makes people laugh through serendipitous poetry, or makes music, somebody who makes music at the top of their game. If you can, if you're a Pluto person, especially if you're a businessman, business person, businesswoman, you know, structuring things really far ahead, you know, wanting to be the best at what you do, wanting to, you know, stay strong. Such a good time. Take time off. Take time off. Friday night, go to a play. But witness somebody who's really good at what they do, because during this time, not many people can totally resonate with each other, especially during the first part of this energy, like December, January. It's already been through it, but like basically it's a really nice time to be marveled, but also to marvel at something. Like, oh my gosh, like the other day I watched a video of these ceramics people, people that made ceramics in Korea, and I had to watch it 7 or 8 times just to see all the detail. You know, things like that, when you are looking at somebody and you're like, whoa, that is so satisfying just to see this person glow. If you're there, you're not this, and you're not this. You're somewhere in between. You know, you're somebody who's living through another one. You are merging with another one. With the Jupiter, how it is, it's a very nice time to admire other people. Very good time, you know, also with Venus and, you know, whatever's happening with Virgo during this year. A very, very good time to have a look, and to master through watching and through, and how can I say, endowed moments, you know, like a moment where you are like, say, looking at your hands, and then you're like, whoa, I never knew I had the swirl on my finger like that. You know, things like that, because otherwise Pluto will drive you to insane heights in your brain or in your feelings. I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. And then when you actually get to the platform where you're supposed to be performing, you might not carry out the way that you thought you would, or you may not feel, even at the moment as you are doing it, that it's really that important. It's like you're a violinist, you've been practicing, you think, I'm gonna be the next Paganini or the next, you know, modern person who's famous and quite big in what they do. And then you get onto the stage and you're actually like given. And I've had this so many times, so many times. So like, because I'm Pluto driven as well, I've got Scorpio ascendant, so many planets in Scorpio, including Pluto. So basically, when you are that person and you are feeling like this is going to be it, this is going to be it, this is going to be it, just find a distraction, because by the end of April, I feel you'll know that whatever you've been trying to prove to yourself is worthless, or you'll understand, if you're one of those really fired up human beings, that what you bring to this world is minute. It's minute, it's small. So without diminishing yourself any further, the bigger thing is to relate to something completely outside of yourself, to see somebody else incredible, or to find something very, very small and perhaps useless and just look at this design. If you've got an iPhone, like look at the little dots, the little things, like, wow, I wonder how they made one of these, things like that. It's like you can take anything at all, and you can look at it in a completely different way, where you almost like are venerating the idea of this thing even existing, as Pluto does not like things that are physical, that it can't understand. And then the ego will fold, things will fall, and you have a really nice clean way. What is this good for? Well, this time, especially from April the 20th, as we are in retrograde, very, very nice time for drama. Very, very good time for evoking emotive energy through the old. Like, for example, Shakespeare. To be or not to be or not to be. Old things, and also old things that you haven't said to anyone yet. April the 20th. Perhaps your mum is not you. She doesn't understand how you feel. Maybe in April you can actually tell her what you feel. Maybe you can tell her what happened, if anything happened. It's not a good time to lunge forward. Lunge forward during April. Towards the end of the year, actually, it's a very, very, very stoic time, as you get to exhibit to yourself what it is. It's like, if you can imagine, some people will feel like they're big whales and they just got krill coming at them. Okay, it's like, you're a whale, oh, the krill's coming, like that kind of thing. There is probably a need to be still and understand that from your place of life, where you are situated, you can achieve more than thinking, I'm going to be out there like in the Amazon with the shamans. That's where my work is. From your very bedroom is the opening of the universe. From your very work that you do at the moment, wherever you are in the world, comes the biggest idea. From your very seeding comes the greatest possibility. It's like, I'm here. It's within me. And little objects like this, so this is not an object, it's actually a being, because it's an orange. From beings like this and small things that you can touch and hold, actually, to be quite honest, this is a being too. It's actually 3 in 1. From small objects and beings, actually all things are beings, you can connect to greater things through childhood things. Childhood abuse can be elevated, then seen for once, twice, understood, realigned during the last period of this Pluto retrograde, maybe towards April, May, June, like throughout, but especially down into the very bottom of it, like July, August, maybe not August, because August is an expansive time. July, succumb to what happened and have a look at what is you and how the abuse has resonated with you and what happened. If you've had any kind of father figures that have passed on, anything that has happened through the bottomless void, when you, like, say, had a drug addiction or an overdose, anything like that could be connected in your mind during this retrograde season. And Pluto, maybe towards September, you'll start understanding what it was that drove you to, like, say, prostitution, or drove you to the extent where you have been for a long time. Say, like, I got lost in some type of shadow for a long time, for about 13 years, and I couldn't understand how to get through that. It would be very nice to also share with another human who's going through the same thing that you went through. For instance, you're no longer an alcoholic, and you still go to Alcoholics Anonymous, as a friend of mine does, just to support other people, during the last part of this retrograde season, like the ending of the year, numerical year. So for some people, November, but all the way down to December, they could be a resolution for yourself through another person. Say if you've ever been a burlesque entertainer who, like, for example, drank a lot and had a very creative but also very like abusive lifestyle. You know, perhaps you're somebody who got in, like, who fell in love with somebody who did not provide you anything good, anything real, and you sort of like were in this smoke and mirrors life for a long time until you come out of it, maybe late last year, for example. And then late 2017, sorry, there's always something building where I'm living. Late 2017, you might actually find a very interesting human that resembles you and how you started. And maybe it's time to drag them backwards and help them. You know, say, for example, for me, I might find some people who are part of an abuse cycle within themselves, and there would be maybe a show and tell or talking about what I've been, and maybe I could help this person or these people evolve through different means, because I know what shadow is. For you might be something else, but teaching people about your shadow, if you have mastered it in the actual retrograde between April and September, from October to maybe January 2018, you've got a chance, or you've got a calling maybe to give somebody else the opportunity to not do those things again. So for anybody who's been through shadow, like depth of inner worlds, like this depth of just forever alone or suicidal or on a mission to succeed through vulgar means, you know, or on a mission to sell I don't know, like even butchery, you know, if you've been a butcher, if you've been somebody who touched people inappropriately, if you've been any kind of part of shadow, by the end of this transit, it will be really nice to see you communicate it out and tell people why you did it and how it felt and what it is that you have now, perhaps, that has made you clean, and how you'd like to heal another person or a few other people that maybe were or were not involved in the process of your expansion into shadow, and what it is that you want the new people in that shadow to know. Very nice time for drug-free talks, very good time to help people in need, like people that have just started prostitution. Say if you've been a prostitute or you've been a punter before, to help people if you have the understanding of the industry, but only if you've been into it and you've gone and done it. Say if you're like a Christian pastor and you're going to start teaching people about the worthiness of clean living and no drugs, it's not going to sit anywhere. It's not going to work because you've never done it. But if you're somebody who's been through a lot of drug trafficking, through a lot of maybe even violence through the drug industry, if it has taught you that it was like a bad idea or anything like that, you should step up at the end of the year 2018, towards the 2018, end of 2017 towards 2018, and show us why, like what it is that you know. And also in 2018 as well, it could be a path for many people, like to be like a rehabilitator, to be a holder of space for people who come from unique families where perhaps their mother didn't care that like the woman has become a prostitute at the age of 16 or 17, you know, things like that, where the parent wasn't there to hold their child's hand and to keep them from harm, anything like that. It would be so nice to see you people from shadow, as myself as well, to evolve through helping another person understand what shadow really has for them and how to evolve through it without having to go within it for many, many years. We have a Jupiterian protrusion, which will end. It's like if people want to sit themselves into certain type of schemes during this time, they can, and there's probably a lot of people that are holding space for them already. There might be a lot of human beings, as perhaps with me and a few other people 12 years ago, there was like a sucking of the shadow, like people were sucked in or sucked into their own shadow a lot, and we can leave them or love them, but it's like a thing that will not become clear till later on in the year. Like say if you are looking towards somebody who is going into a shadow experience, even if it's your mom, even if it's your daughter, it's almost like you can't quite use this time to give them a new design until later in the year. Perhaps if you have resolved everything that you have inside you, but if you did resolve everything inside you already, perhaps there's more. This is like a more useful time to resolve for yourself and for other people. It's not a great time to hold somebody by the hand and to check their phone and to see, to monitor another person from harm, but it's a very, very good time to do your own cleaning, and for your inner cleansing, it's a very strong year. Your inner cleansing, you can then heal another person for sure. Thank you very much for being here. I hope you've had fun and found something useful for you, and I will see you next time. Bye.